In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your rear brake hose on your Honda CR-V. It's located behind your rear wheel. Using a 19mm socket, we're going to remove our lug nuts. Make sure you have a hand on it. Take off that last one. All right, anytime you're doing any sort of hydraulics work on your vehicle, you're going to want to press the brake pedal down and hold it with like a pry bar or a pole of some sort. That'll ensure that you don't lose a ton of fluid and just makes your life a little easier. It's less messy. We're going to disconnect our brake line using a 10mm line wrench. I use a little penetrating oil and let it sit there for a minute before I loosen this up. I have my brake pedal pressed inside the vehicle so I don't lose a ton of brake fluid. Make sure you have a drip pan below. Catch any brake fluid that does come out. All right, when you've disconnected that, you can take out your spring clip. I'm going to use needle nose pliers to do that. Sometimes you got to give it a good wiggle and then it'll come out. All right, so now we can disconnect our hose from our caliper using an 11mm socket. Discard the washers. They're on the bolt. The other washer is not on the caliper. You don't want to double up on those. And then set that off to the side, the bolt. Okay, using a 12mm socket, we're going to loosen up our bolt for the brake hose. All right, take that bolt out and you can remove your brake hose. All right, we are going to put our brake line into our hose. All right, now that we have it started, I'm going to push it into the bracket. Now we can tighten down our line. All right, so we're going to attach our hose. We're going to put our washer with the bolt, put it on the brake hose, put the other washer on the other side of the brake hose, and insert our line into our caliper. Make sure your brake hose is within these two parts of the caliper. Then we're going to torque this to 25 foot-pounds. All right, so now we're going to attach our brake hose to the bracket. All right, just snug that up, make sure it's stable. Now we're gonna clean off our area and do a gravity bleed. All right, so now we can take our pry bar out and release our brake pedal. Take off your rubber cap and loosen up your bleeder. Watch for air bubbles and then wait for a steady stream or a steady drip. All right, looking good. I'm not seeing any air. Steady stream or steady drip. And now I'm going to tighten it up. Clean it off. A little brake pads cleaner. And then you can put your rubber cap back on. We're going to reinstall our wheel. Get our lug nut started by hand. And now we're going to snug them up in a star-like pattern. I'm going to turn this down. All right, we're going to torque our wheel to 80 foot-pounds. We're going to do that in a star-like pattern. And I like to go around one more time. All right, so you're gonna clean and inspect your cap on your master cylinder first. You're gonna check to see what kind of fluid it takes. This says .3 or 4 brake fluid. If yours does not say anything, you're gonna use what's recommended by the manufacturer. Now we're gonna see if there's a filter in here, which there is. You're gonna take it out. You can put that right in your pan. Now we're going to siphon out our old brake fluid using a tool like this or something similar. Make sure your pan is nearby. You should clean and inspect your strainer and put it back. Now we're gonna pour in clean brake fluid. So you're just gonna fill your master cylinder till it's to the max with your clean brake fluid. The max line is on this part of the cap. Now we can put our cap back on. And now we're ready to bleed our brakes. The brake bleed procedure is left front, right rear, left rear. All right, so we're gonna take our rubber cap off our caliper bleeder. I have somebody inside the vehicle that's ready to pump the brakes for me. Can you pump it up, please? All right. Crack open the bleeder with a 10mm. Get to the floor, pump it up again, please. Holding. Pump it up again, please. this off. Clean it off a little. Let that dry. And then put the cap back on. Now we're going to go to the right front. All right, now that we've bled the front two brakes, we're going to check our master cylinder and top it off before we do the rears. All right, now we can put our cap back on and continue our bleed procedure. All right, now that you've checked your fluid level, we're going to the right rear. Pump it up. To the floor. Pump it up, please. He's holding. To the floor. Pump it up one more time, please. He's holding. Looking good. Tighten that down. Clean it off. And I'm going to have to replace that rubber cap because there isn't one. And now we're going to our left rear. All right, now that we're done bleeding the brakes, we're going to top off our fluids again. Remove the cap. And we're going to fill this up to max. Put your cap back on. And then we're gonna clean it off with some brake clean. Now we can get in our vehicle. We're gonna check our brake pedal, make sure it's nice and high and hard. If it doesn't feel good and it feels like squishy, you're gonna have to bleed the brakes one more time because that means there's probably a problem or there's air in the system. If your brakes feel great, you're good to go. You can go for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.